Horses are on the track and pretty the post for this evening's first race behind outrider Kelly Rucker. Race sponsored by the American Legion 12th District Council. Exactas in tries. First half of the early daily double. A pace of 1 mile. A purse of $2,000. A field of 10. No changes. The one is Loser's Bracket. Owned and trained by Tommy Smith of Lebanon, Ohio with Bob Harper. Number 2 is Hoosier Townette. Owned and trained by Michael High of Cardington, Ohio with Sam Chip Noble III. Number 3 is Laney's Flight by Robert Davis of Lebanon, Ohio, trained by Jeff Brewer with Jason Brewer up. Number 4 is Devon's Money by Gus Hall of Lebanon, Ohio, trained by Lamar Moody with Tony Hall at the lines. The 5 is TM's Rockin' Robin by Horner Racing Stables of Dayton, Ohio, trained by Tom Horner Jr. with Jeff Fount. Number 6 is Stormy Gracie by Scott Rooks of Greenfield, Ohio, trained and driven by Keith Haynes. Number 7 is Make Mine Black by the Shout Stable of Pompano Beach, Florida, trained and driven by Rick Shout. Number 8 is TSM Starburst by John Howard of Morgantown, West Virginia, trained by Virgil Morgan Jr. with Brett Miller. Number 9 is Trisha Lou by James Davis of Lebanon, Ohio, trained by Brandon Piggott with Jeff Ace Neisonger. And scoring from off the second tier is number 10, Sporty Carla by Tim McCoy of Springboro, Ohio, trained and driven by the K-Man, Kane Kaufman, Ian Herselke. American Legion 12th District Council field in motion. They're all fan pacing and firing away from the middle of the track. There goes the 4, Devon's Money. Right alongside of that is TM's Rockin' Robin. And from the outside, there is Stormy Gracie. And way outside of there, Trisha Lou, who's on the go. Off the rail, Loser's Bracket comes away in 4th. Caught to the outside in 5, that is Trisha Lou. They're stacked up 3 deep as they race around the first turn and over to the opening quarter. On top of the field, that is Stormy Gracie with the lead, but now over the outside. TM's Rockin' Robin to grab control. Opening panel in 27 and 2/5, passing the stand for the first time and heading on down to the half. TM's Rockin' Robin with the lead here. Stormy Gracie is joining her on the outside, looking to take the lead. Devon's Money is shuffled back in 3rd. 4th is Loser's Bracket. First over the outside in 5, that is TSM Starburst. Second over the outside, racing in 6th, that is Trisha Lou. To the outside in 7th is Make Mine Black. 8th and on the inside is Sporty Carla. 9th to the outside is Laney's Flight. In 10th and trailing the field as they step around the clubhouse, turning on over to the half is Hoosier Townette. They reach the half in 57 and 4/5. Off the turn and driving down the backside. Fillies and Mares heads are pointed towards 3/4 and on top of the field. Stormy Gracie with the lead here. TSM Starburst is applying heavy pressure to the outside in 2. Along the inside, watching over the dueling leaders from 3rd is TM's Rockin' Robin. Perfectly placed. Second over the outside in 4th is Trisha Lou. Buried at the rail in 5 and now swung up on the outside is Devon's Money. Inside in 6th, Loser's Bracket. 7th there is Sporty Carla. Wheeling by 3/4 and 127 flat. They'll pace the final turn and head for home, and on top of the field, TSM Starburst and Brett Miller begins to draw clear here by 2. To the inside, Stormy Gracie is getting no closer in 2nd. TM's Rockin' Robin is racing in 3rd. To the top of the stretch, less than an 1/8 of a mile to go. And down the stretch they come with the opener. And on top, TSM Starburst and Brett Miller is cruising away from this field at the wire. TSM Starburst going to be close for second. Looks like the 6, Stormy Gracie, over the 5, TM's Rockin' Robin. Down to the mile, 156, 4/5, TSM Starburst. Lifetime mark. Establishing a new lifetime mark, 156 and 4/5. A 3-year-old bay filly by Jake and Elwood out of a TSM Beaming Star. She by Sir Beam by John Howard of Morgantown, West Virginia, trained by Virgil Morgan Jr. Nicely handled teal this evening by South Downs leading driver Brett Miller. Posting the 5th win of her career, new lifetime mark, 156, 4/5, the 8 TSM Starburst. The first race is sponsored by the American Legion 12th Council, District Council. Welcome to South Downs. 8-6-5-1 is unofficial. Two-year-old Colt Pacers, a pace of 1 mile, a purse of $3,500. Exact trifecta wagering, a field of 7 when wagering. Wager by head number and not post position. The one is victory.com from post position 1 is owned by J&J Como Jr. Incorporated of Twaco, New Jersey, trained by Peter Foley with Jeff Ace Neisonger. The 1A from post position 2 is Continental Cam, owned by J&J Como Jr. Incorporated of Twaco, New Jersey, trained by Peter Foley with Bob Harper. Number 2 from post 3 is Maxine's Belief, owned by Margaret Haller of Chillicothe, Ohio, trained by Dan Ader. Kyle Ader's at the lines. The 3 is Lighthouse Special from post 4 is owned by Paul Cruz of Miamisburg, Ohio, trained by Paul Cruz with Jeff Fount. The 4 from post 5 is Nuclear Scooter by Vicki Miller of Chillicothe, Ohio, trained by Ron Miller with Dallas Miller. The 5 from post 6 is Chain of Command, owned by Patricia Stable of Massapequa, New York, trained by Peter Foley with Brett Miller. And the 6 from post 7, Red Silk Sails, owned by Sam Noble Jr. of Cedarville, Ohio, trained by Sam Noble Jr. with Sam Chip Noble III in the sulky. They're all fan pacing and firing away from the middle of the racetrack. There goes Lighthouse Special and Jeff Fount, who's firing for command here. Middle of the track, there's Continental Cam. Driving up from the rail, there is Victory.com. Looking to angle in, racing in 4th, that is Chain of Command. Away in 5 is Red Silk Sails. 6th on the inside of there, that is Nuclear Scooter. As they step around the first turn and over to the opening quarter and on top, Lighthouse Special and Jeff Fount with the lead here. To the inside, Continental Cam is going along into Victory.com is racing in 3rd. Opening panel in 27 3/5. Chain of Command racing in 4th. 5th there along the inside of that is Red Silk Sails. 6th along the inside of Maxine's Belief. And 7th in trailing the field, that is Nuclear Scooter. As they roll under the wire with 5/8 of a mile remaining and on top. With the lead here, Lighthouse Special and Jeff Fount leads the way here comfortably by a length and a half as they step around the clubhouse, turning on over to the half. Along the inside, racing in 2, that is Continental Cam. Victory.com is going along in 3rd. 4th there on the inside, Chain of Command. 5th there is Red Silk Sails. 6th along the inside of Maxine's Belief. And 7th in trailing the field, Nuclear Scooter. Halfway home in 59 2/5, and positions remain unchanged down the backside. On top, Lighthouse Special is getting his own way on top, leading it here, but out pops. Here comes Continental Cam, and Bob Harper has sent this one underway. To the inside, Victory.com is watching over these doing leaders from 3rd. 2nd over the outside in 4th, that is Red Silk Sails, who picked up the cover there. 5th on the inside, Chain of Command. 6th to the outside of theirs, Maxine's Belief. And 7th in trailing the field, a Nuclear Scooter. They went by 3/4 and 1:28 3/5. They'll pace to the top of Heartbreak Lane with less than an 1/8 of a mile to go. And down the stretch they come. To the inside, Lighthouse Special. To the outside, Continental Cam now strikes the front end here. Red Silk Sails is charging hard along with Maxine's Belief as they come to the wire. Victory.com is in it as they come to the wire. 3 of them across the track. Very tight there. May have been the 6 Red Silk Sails. Time of the mile, 1:58 2/5. Photo for a win. 5th leg of event number 8 for 2-year-old Colt Pacers, establishing a new lifetime mark in 1:58 2. Here's the 6 Red Silk Sails. A 2-year-old bay colt by Jenna's Beach Boy out of a She's Pure Silk mare, She by Annihilator, owned and trained by Sam Noble Jr. of Cedarville, Ohio. Nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Sam Noble III. The 6 Red Silk Sails, new lifetime mark, 1:58 2/5. In 2, returning 785.42.40. Finishing 2nd was the 2 Maxine's Belief, returning 542.40. 3rd was the 1A Continental Cam, returning 210. Early double 8-6, returned 29.80. 6-2 Exacta 40.40. 6-2-1 Try, returned $60.06. Maiden claiming Pacers of 1 mile, a purse of $2,000. Exactas and Tries, a field of 10, no changes. Presenting the field, the 1 is Swayze Hot Rod, owned by Robert Davis of Lebanon, Ohio, trained by Robert Davis with Dave Setzer. Number 2 is Magnificent, owned by Harry and Iris Horowitz of Brooklyn, New York, trained by Tim Rucker with Sam Chip Noble III. Number 3 is Hardee's, owned by Short of Delaware, Ohio, and Paint Creek Farms of Rochester, Michigan, trained by Jeff Short with Brett Miller. Number 4 is Magical Nuke, owned and trained by Robert Rhodes of Obentz, Ohio, with Bob Harper. Number 5 is Yakety Jack by Sharon Blevins of Marysville, Ohio, trained by Delbert Blevins with Jason Brewer. The 6 is Big Harlan by Kruger, Schultz, and Green, all of the Buckeye State, trained by John Schultz with Dallas Miller. Number 7 is Expected Return by John P. McDonough of Springfield, Ohio, trained by Chris Justice with Kyle Leader. The 8 is Cruise the Town by John Reams and Larry Tench, both of the Buckeye State, trained by Larry Tench with Jeff Neisonger up. The 9 is Arcade's Bullwinkle by Karen and Richard Graham of Zanesfield, Ohio, trained by Richard Graham with Don Feaster. And scoring from off the second tier is the 10, Scootin' Cheetah by Ann Kirk of Lockbourne, Ohio, and John Rogers of Columbus, Ohio, trained by Danny Collins, Dan Noble, in the sulky. In motion. Being sent on their way. They're all fan pacing and firing away from the inside. There goes Magnificent from off the rail. There is Swayze Hot Rod driving up from post 6. There is Big Harlan. Got to the outside of there in 4th as Arcade's Bullwinkle is driving on there. Away in 5 from off the second tier. That is Scootin' Cheetah. Angled in 6th. That is RD's. 7th along the pylons there. That is Magical Nuke. Looking to drop in there. Racing in 8th. That is Yakety Jack. Gap at 2 in 9th there. That is Expected Return in 10th and trailing the field to Cruise the Town. And Ace Neisonger can see them all as they step by the opening quarter in 28 and 1/5. They'll pass by the stand for the first time and race on down to the half with Magnificent on top by a length and 3/4. To the inside, Big Harlan is going along in 2. Long Mile the outside in 3rd is Arcade's Bullwinkle. 4th and unhurried there, that is Swayze Hot Rod. 2nd over the outside in 5. Scootin' Cheetah. 3rd over and towing along is Ardis there in 6th. On the inside, racing in 7th is Magical Nuke. A swing to the outside, racing in 8th there. That is Yakety Jack, and the 2 trailers remain. Expected Return and Cruise the Town. Off the half in 58 and 3/5. A second panel with 30 and 2. Off the turn and driving down the backside. Heads are pointed towards 3/4 with Magnificent leading the way here. To the inside, Big Harlan is going along in 2. Stalled to the outside. Racing in 3rd is Arcade's Bullwinkle. Swung up 3 wide. Here comes Ardiste, and Ardiste is closing ground on the outside. 3rd, now 2nd, advancing up on the leader as they wheel towards 3/4 on the board in 1:27 and 4/5. They'll pace the final turn and head for home, and Magnificent has had it his way throughout here. Leads it by a length. Up on the outside, Ardiste, what had been swung 3 deep down the backside, is at the leader's wheel disc in 2. To the top of Power Alley, less than an 1/8 of a mile to go. And down the stretch they come. Magnificent is responding well here. It is opening up and drawing clear as they drive within the final 16th. Magnificent gate to wire. Finishing 2nd, Ardis. 3rd of the mile was the 6, Big Harlan. Time of the mile, 1:56, 4/5. Magnificent. New lifetime mark. First tracks out of the winner's circle, the official winner of the 3rd race, and a new lifetime mark, 1:56 and 4/5. Here's the 2, Magnificent, a 3-year-old bay colt by Jate Lobo out of a McNifty. She by Falcon Elmhurst, owned by Harry and Iris Horowitz of Brooklyn, New York, trained by Tim Rucker, nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Sam Chip Noble III. The 2, Magnificent, 1:56, 4/5, new lifetime mark. The 1 is Emma Starr, owned, trained, and driven by Michael Myers of Groveport, Ohio. Number 2 is Cherry Tree Luke by Alan Kirchenbaum of Burbank, California, trained and driven by Smilin' Joe Adamski. Number 3 is Carrier Rose by Larry Cleland of Bainbridge, Ohio, trained and driven by Keith Haynes. The 4 is Super Bandit by Jerry Volk and Connie Armstrong of Westerville, Ohio. Hey, happy birthday, 73rd birthday, trainer Jerry Volk, Dan Noble drives. The 5 is Mario's Kickstart by Cool Winds Farm of Lima, Ohio, trained and driven by Harold Dick. The 6 is Watch the Jewels, owned and trained by Michael High of Cardington, Ohio. Brett Miller is up. The 6 is Ask Me About It by Parker of Canal, Winchester, Ohio, and Berger of Columbus, Ohio, trained by Doug Parker. The K-Man, Kane Kaufman. Number 8 is Flannery Hall by the Royal Stable of Dundee, Ohio, trained by Danny Collins. Sandy Beatty is up. The 9 is Sturdy Ella, owned by the A to Z Sales of Becksville, Pennsylvania, trained and driven by Jim Daly. Scoring from off the second tier is number 10, Lady Gracious by Clarence You Can Call Me Sonny DeLong of Orient, Ohio, trained by Daryl Hoosier with Kyle Leader in the sulky. Ohio 4018 field in motion. They're off and trotting and break the 5. Mario's kickstart before the start. And on top of the field, the 3, Carrie Rose. And from the outside, there is Watch the Jewels. From the outside, there is Flannery Hall, who's on the go there. Trotting in 4th, that is Super Bandit. Away in 5 from off the rail. That is Emma Star. Looking to be angled in there in 6th, that is Sturdy Ella. Racing in 7th, there is Cherry Tree Luke. And off stride there in 8th is Lady Gracious. So coming through to be 8th is Ask Me About It. Outside of there in 9th now, that is Lady Gracious. And 10th and trailing the field after the early miscue, that is Mario's kickstart. They went by the opening quarter in 28 seconds flat, and now charging up on the outside. Here's Flannery Hall, and Flannery Hall is looking to take the lead here. Carrie Rose is yielding for a garden spot, racing in 2. First up on the outside, racing in 3rd, that is Super Bandit. Along the inside in 4th is Watch the Jewels. In 5 is Emma Star. 6th on the inside, that is Sturdy Ella. Cherry Tree Luke there is in 8th. As they race around the clubhouse, turning on over to the half. And on top of the field, clearing to the front end tier, that's Super Bandit and Dan Noble to the front end tier. Off the half and 57 1/5. Off the turn and trotting down the backside. Heads are pointed towards 3/4 with Super Bandit opening up here by some 6 lengths. To the inside, trotting in 2, that is Flannery Hall. Up on the outside, trotting in 3rd, that is Watch the Jewels. On inside, racing in 4th is Carry the Rose. Outside, trotting in 5, Emma Star. 6th is Sturdy Ella. 7th there is Cherry Tree Luke. 8th is Ask Me About It. 9th on the inside is Lady Gracious. And 10th and trailing the field, Mario's kickstart. Trotting by 3/4 in 1:26 3/5. And on top of the field, Super Bandit is trotting on and trotting strong as they turn to the top of the stretch. Less than 1/8 of a mile to go. And down the stretch he comes, and Super Bandit on cruise control here. Super Bandit is absolutely rocking away from this field. Happy birthday, Jerry Folk. Super Bandit in front. Finishing second, the 1, Emma Star. Getting up for 3rd here in the mile. Looks like it's going to be the 9, Sturdy Ella. Down of the mile, 1:57 4/5. Super Bandit, a new lifetime mark. The 4 Super Bandit, very impressively here, timed at 1:57 4 for a new lifetime mark. 8-year-old bake outing by final score of his Super Coleman mare. She by Coleman Lobel, by Jerry Folk and Connie Armstrong of Westerville, Ohio, trained by Birthday Boy. Happy 73rd birthday to Jerry Folk. Nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Dan Noble. The 4 Super Bandit and Dan Noble home in a new lifetime mark, 1:57 4/5. 4192 is now official. 4192 is unofficial. This 4th race sponsored by the 40 and 8 Grand Duo Ohio 4018. Welcome to Ohio's showplace of racing. On the bottom, reviewing after the placings, it should read 2, 4, 10, 1, 8, 9, 6, 5. Horses are on the track and printed the post for the 5th race. Fillies and Mares, maiden pace of 1 mile, a purse of $2,400. Exactas and tries, a field of 9, no changes. The 1 is A.B. Rough Stuff, owned by Leonard Buckner of Mount Eaton, Ohio, trained and driven by Tom Brinkerhoff. Number 2 is Sharp Alma, owned and trained by Jeff Heyman of Findlay, Ohio, with Bob Harper at the lines. Out next is the 3, Lucky for Her, owned and trained by Ivan Sugg of Deschler, Ohio, with Sam Chipnoble III. Number 4 is Momentous Meg by Smiglitsky, Ferguson, Suda and Suda, they're of Illinois and Ohio, trained by James Ferguson with Dean Collins. Number 5 is Anita Crombie. The lessee is also the trainer, Thomas Blankenship of Asheville, Ohio, with Jeff Fount. Number 6 is Early Country Star, owned by Daniel Carty at Chillicothe, Ohio, and trained by Clarence Gilliam with Adam Rucker. Number 7 is Katie Lee Bloom, owned and trained by Bob Colley of Ashley, Ohio, with Don Feaster. The 8 is My Bud Light Long Shot of the Night, Glowing Siren, owned and trained by Jan McPherson of Xenia, Ohio, with Daniel Noble. And for the outside of the 9 is KF Pros Finale, owned by Henry, you can call me Hank Kaufman of Baltimore, Ohio, trained by Mike Metters, Brent Miller, Ian Hersalki. That's the field for the 5th race. Field in motion. They're off and pacing and firing away from the outside. There goes Early Country Star, driving up in between horses and Nita Crombie from the inside. There is Momentous Meg from the post 2. There is Sharp Alma coming away in 4th. Away in 5, that is Lucky for Her. Away in 6 there, that is A.B. Ralphstoff. 7th along the inside, that is Katie Lee Bloom. And the 2 trailers here are Glowing Siren and KF Pro's Finale. And Brett Miller can see them all as they step around the first turn and approach the opening quarter. The opening quarter came and went in 28 3/5. They'll march on by the stand for the first time and head on down to the half. And on top, Anita Crombie and Jeff Fount leads the way here by length and a half. On the inside, Momentous Meg has found the garden spot, going along in 2. Sharp Alma is racing in 3rd. 4th is Lucky for Her. 5th there along the inside, that is Early Country Star. First to flush on the outside in 6th. Here comes KF Pro's Finale. Outside racing there in 7th, that is Glowing Siren. Along the inside, racing in 8th, that is Early Country Star. In 9th and trailing the field as they approach the halfway mile mark of the race is Katie Lee Bloom. They race by the half in 1 minute and 3/5. Off the turn and driving down the backside. Heads are pointed towards 3/4. And on top of the field, Anita Crombie will be tough to catch off that second quarter breather there, leading it by a length and 3/4. To the outside, racing into, that is Lucky for Her, who's first up along the outside. Inside in 3rd is Momentous Mag. Second over the outside, racing in 4th, KF Pro's Finale. Buried at the rail in 5 is Sharp Alma. 3rd over the outside in 6th, Glowing Siren. 7th is Early Country Star. 8th is A.B. Ralphstoff. 9th and trailing the field, Katie Lee Bloom. They went by 3/4 in 1:29 3/5. They'll pace the final turn and head for home. And Anita Crombie will be set down with a stretch drive. On top here, awaiting the passing lane, that is Momentous Meg, and swung up 3 wide to the outside. Here comes Glowing Siren to the top of the stretch. Less than 1/8 of a mile to go. And down the stretch they come. Lucky for Her strikes the front end here. Anita Crombie is trying to battle back, but Lucky for Her gets up to win it. Finishing second, Anita Crombie. 3rd was the 4, Momentous Meg. The time of the mile was 1:59 1/5. Lucky for Her in a first career victory. Trackside of the winner's circle, the official winner of the 5th race, sponsored by American Legion Post 82, and her first career victory, 1:59 Here's the 3, Lucky for Her. 2-year-old bay fillet by Cam Luck, out of Her Odyssey mare. She by Abercrombie, owned and trained by Ivan Sugg of Dashler, Ohio. Nicely handled here this evening by wedding driver Sam Chipnoble III. That's 3 wins on this evening's program for Chip, giving him a driving triple. Edition trot of 1 mile, a purse of $3,000. Race sponsored by the La Feminez Cabane 498 Dale Howe. Exact is in tries. A field of 9, no changes. The 1 is Tropical Paradise by Harry and Iris Horowitz of Brooklyn, New York, trained by Tim Rucker with Debbie Rucker at the lines. The 2 is Peaceful Sakra by Christine Barnes of Thornville, Ohio, trained and driven by David Morgan. The 3 is Joy's Last Girl by Larry Joe Nybert of Richwood, Ohio, trained and driven by Eddie Bibler. The 4 is Rachy Bug by Debbie Geiler of Pataskal, Ohio, trained and driven by Sandy Beatty. Number 5 is Dinah Slick, owned by Thomas Owen Tharps and James Shaniger of Ohio, New York, trained by Tom Tharps, Bob Harper. The 6 is First Fiddler by Tom York Jr. of Granville, Ohio, trained by Jim Artledge Jr. Jeff Fount is up. The 7 is Striking Sabrina. The lessee is also the trainer Jack Daly of Jamestown, Ohio. Jeff Daly is up. The 8 is Raging Impulse. The lessee is Kenneth Roebuck of Urbana, Ohio, trained by Don Knight with Jim Daly. And for the outside of the 9 is Quickly Took Over by Elizabeth Brandt of Logan, Ohio, trained and driven by Dave Myers and the Sulky. They're off and trotting and firing away from the inside. And there goes the 3, Joy's Last Girl. Middle of the track, driving out. There is Dinah Slick. From the outside and crossing over, that is Raging Impulse as they trot into the first turn and over to the opening quarter. Raging Impulse with the lead here. Now trotting up on the outside. Dinah Slick wants nothing to do with a 2-hole trip and is driving on to the top here. Dinah Slick away in 2 now. That'll be Raging Impulse. Trotting in 3rd, that is Joy's Last Girl. Away in 4th on the inside, that is Quickly Took Over. Caught to the outside in 5 is Striking Sabrina as they trot by the opening quarter in 28 4/5. Along the inside, trotting in 6, that is Tropical Paradise. 7th there along the inside is Rachy Bug. 8th up on the outside there, that's First Fiddler. And 9th and trailing the field, that is Peaceful Sakra as they roll onto the wire with 5/8 of a mile remaining and trot around the clubhouse, turning on over to the half. And from the outside, Striking Sabrina sticks ahead in front. Dinah Slick is battling back on the inside. These 2 in hardball here as they trot around to the halfway mile mark of the race. They're at the half. They're halfway home, 57 3/5. Off the turn and driving down the backside. Dinah Slick and the earplugs are out on this one already, leading it here by length and a half. On the inside, Striking Sabrina's now trotting in two. Third is Raging Impulse. Fourth is Joy's Last Girl. Fanned outside, racing in five. Here comes Quickly Took Over, was fifth. Now fourth and moving up on the outside there. Towing along a Rachy Bug as they track towards 3/4 and on top Dinah Slick with the lead here by 2.5. Racing by 3/4 and 127 4/5. They'll trot the final turn and head for home in your 2 to 5. Punter's Choice, Dinah Slick on top here by 5 and widening with every stride. To the inside, Striking Sabrina could not go with him in second. Quickly Took Over, trots into the third. Off the turn to the top of the stretch, driving through Power Alley. On top, Dinah Slick is opening up and drawing away with every single stride. Much the best here, Dinah Slick. Gate to wire. Finishing second is going to be Striking Sabrina. Third of the 9 Quickly Took Over the top of the mile, 158 flat. Dinah Slick. Dinah Slick, 6-year-old bay gelding by Carry the Message out of a Dainty Hill mare. She by B.F. Coletown by Thomas Owen Tharps and James Shignar of Ohio and New York, trained by Tom Tharps, very capably driven to victory by winning driver Bob Harper. The 5 Dinah Slick trotting home at 158 flat. $5,796 is now official. 480. The one is parked out with a Cool Winds Farm of Lima, Ohio, trained and driven by Harold Dick. Number 2 is Harmonicon, owned and trained by Connie Monar of Ashley, Ohio, with Mike Price up. The 3 is Moon Shadow by Charlie Wingfield of Kenton, Ohio, trained by Brad Crates with Brett Miller. Number 4 is Sugar Valley Dooley, owned by Dale Walters of Delaware, Ohio, trained and driven by Billy Walters. Number 5 is Bayman by Calvin Lamb of Marion, Ohio, trained by Bobby Arnett with Bob Harper. Next is the 6, Tyler Forever by Harriet Fowler of Greenfield, Ohio, trained by Raymond Carnes with Dallas Miller. The 7 is On Guard by Hank and Sally Josephink of Washington Township, Ohio, trained and driven by Mark Evers. The 8 is Corsair Hanover by Iris Horowitz of Brooklyn, New York, trained by Tim Rucker with Sam Chip Noble III. From the outside of the 9 is Look Chad, owned and trained by Rusty Lees of Waynesville, Ohio, with Chad Lees up and scoring from off the second tier is number 10, Auto Poppy by Brian Moore and Joseph Smith Sr., both of the Buckeye State, trained and driven by Jim Daly in the sulky. They're all fan pacing and firing away for the lead. There goes Moon Shadow, who's hustled out for command here. Driving up in between horses, that is Tyler Forever. From the outside, On Guard is crossing over. Corsair Hanover is on the go from post 8 as they wheel by the opening 8th and over to the opening quarter and up on the outside. Corsair Hanover looks to be tracking towards the front end here. On Guard will yield for a garden spot, racing in 2. Away in 3rd, that is Moon Shadow. 4th on the inside there, that is Sugar Valley Dooley as they make their way by the opening quarter. To hot one, 27 3/5. Corsair Hanover leads it here by 2. To the inside, On Guard is going along in 2nd by 2.5. 3rd, that is Moon Shadow. 4th is Sugar Valley Dooley. 5th there, that is Tyler Forever. 6th on the inside is Harmonicon. A gap but 2 there in 7th. That is Bayman along the inside, and 8th is Parked Out. 9th there is Auto Poppy, and 10th and trailing the field is Look Chad, and Chad Lees can see them all as they race around the clubhouse, turning on over to the half. Corsair Hanover reports to the half in 57 1/5. A second Pinoa 29 3. Off the turn and driving down the backside. Heads are pointed towards 3/4 and setting sail. On top, that's Corsair Hanover leading it by a length and a quarter. To the inside, On Guard is tracking the garden spot, racing in 2, 4 to 5 shot. Moon Shadow, no swing to the outside, racing in 3rd. 4th there on the inside as they race towards 3/4. Tyler Forever on top. Corsair Hanover with the lead here, leads it by a head. 3/4 and 127 and 1/5. Backside 30 seconds. On top, Corsair Hanover with the lead here to the outside. Moon Shadow is a menacing racing second. Up on the inside, racing in third. That is On Guard, who swing to the outside there. Off the turn to the top of the stretch. Less than an eighth of a mile to go. And down the stretch they come, setting sail for home. Corsair Hanover's battling back on the inside. Moon Shadow on the outside. Corsair Hanover, Moon Shadow on the outside. Moon Shadow gets up to win it. Corsair Hanover to go second. On Guard was third. Time of the mile was 1:57, 1/5. Moon Shadow in a first career victory. Wingfield at Kenton, Ohio gets a win here. The 3, Moon Shadow, by Charlie Wingfield at Kenton, Ohio, trained by Brad Crates. Nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Brett Miller. 3-0 Bay Colt by Village Connection out of a Junk Lady mare. She by Direct Scooter. First career victory, timed at 1:57 1/5. The 3, Moon Shadow, gives Brett Miller a driving double on this evening's card. 3 at Exacta 1560, 387 Try, returned 143.40. Kelly Rucker brings him onto the track for this evening's 8th race. Stallions and Geldings claiming pace of 1 mile, purse of $2,200. Exacta trifecta pick 3 wagering. In the late pick 3, there are no changes. A field of 10. Number 1 is Noble Grinder, owned by Kathy Collins Taylor and Michael Taylor of Columbus, Ohio, trained and driven by Dean Collins. Next is the 2, Maximum Revenge, owned by Ida Hardman of Delaware, Ohio, trained by Frenchie Fuller, Jim Daly. The 3 is the Shout Stable, Pompano Beach, Florida's Jim Bencher, trained and driven by Rick Shout. The 4 is Governor Hooney, owned by Kay Rush of Kenton, Ohio, trained by Ed Bibler with Bob Harper. Number 5 is Falkirk by Roy Sweeney of Spring Valley, Ohio, trained by David Loff with Jeff Fount. The 6 is James Richard Hess of Leesburg, Florida, trained by Fred Winstead Jr., Bob King Cotton, Brett Miller. The 7 is Al's Draw by Billy Joe Raleigh of Eubank, Kentucky, trained by Tommy Smith with Tony Hall. The 8 is Diamond Deribo by Melby Obersino of Cable, Ohio, trained by Jeff Brewer, Jason Brewer at the lines. From the outside of the 9 is Bo Cam by Timothy Williams in a Pleasant Plain, Ohio, trained and driven by Roy Wilson. Scoring from off the second tier is number 10, Caleb Special by Pearl Warren Paver of Marysville, Ohio, trained by Joe Paver, Dan Noble in the sulky. They're all fan pacing in a very nice start here and flashing some early speed. Middle of the track, there's the 3, Jim Badger, driving away from post 2. That is Maximum Revenge. Driving up middle of the track, there's the 5, Falkirk. Away in 4th from off the rail, that is Noble Grinder. Looking to duck in. Racing in 5, that is Bob King Cotton. Away in 6th from off the second tier, that is Caleb Special. 7th there is Governor Hooney. 8th along the inside is Al's Draw. 9th there, that is Diamond Deribo. And 10th and trailing the field, Bo Cam. By the opening quarter, and 27 4/5 and Falkirk and Fout rushing up to the front end tier. Jim Badger's yielding for a garden spot, racing in 2. Maximum Revenge is first up on the outside, racing in 3rd. Noble Grinder is racing in 4th. Up on the outside, racing in 5, that is Bob King Cotton. 6th there is Caleb Special. To the outside in 7th is Al's Draw. Along the inside, racing in 8th, that is Governor Hootie. A swing to the outside in 9, that is Diamond Deribo. And 10th and trailing the field is Bo Cam. As they race towards the half, Maximum Revenge is now clear to the front through a half in 57 2/5. A second Pinot at 29 3. Off the turn and setting sail down the backside with Maximum Revenge setting sail towards 3/4 on top. Leading it here by a length and a half 2. To the inside, Falkirk could not go with him in second. First over the rim, racing in 3rd. That is Noble Grinder. Second over the outside in 4th. That is Bob King Cotton, buried at the rail in 5. Nowhere to go there. That is Jim Badger. 3rd over the outside in 6th. Al's Draw reaching 3/4 in 127 flat. They'll pace the final turn and head for home, and Maximum Revenge under a tippy tap of the whip here from Daly leads it by 2.5, 3 lengths. To the inside, Noble Grinder is trying to go with him in second, and out for the drive 3rd. Here comes Bob King Cotton to the top of the stretch. Less than an eighth of a mile to go, and down the stretch they come. Maximum Revenge is rolling away here. Maximum Revenge, very impressive here. Maximum Revenge in front. Finishing second, Noble Grinder. Bob King Cotton to go 3rd. Down the mile, 156.
1/5. Maximum Revenge in a new lifetime
Threes
mark.
Campaign. The 2 Maximum Revenge. A 6-year-old bay gelding by As Promised out of a So Sure mare. She by Brett Hanover. By Ida Hardman of Delaware, Ohio. Trained by Frenchie Fuller. Nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Jim Daly. The 2 Maximum Revenge. New lifetime mark. 156. 1/5. Well, Grinder and Dean Collins returning for $63. Third was the 6 Bob King Cotton, $240. 2-1 exact to $48 even. 2-1-6 tries. Presenting the field, the 1 is Mega Laugh, owned by Clarence. You can call me Sonny DeLong of Oriental, Ohio. Trained by Daryl Hoosier with Kyle Later. Number 2 is Madame Belicia, owned and trained by Bob Colley of Ashley, Ohio, with Jim Daly up. The 3 is Heart of the Hero by Wiley Lyons Jr. of Xenia, Ohio, trained by Tom Myers with Sam Chipnoble III. Number 4 is Katie Ken Scoot by Suda and Suda of Darien, Illinois, and Belleville, Raymond, Ohio, trained by James Ferguson with Dean Collins. The 5 is Rita's Velvet by Billy Joe Raleigh of Eubank, Kentucky, trained by Tommy Smith with Tony Hall. The 6 is Family Classic by Rick Starr of Hilliard, Ohio, trained by Virgil Morgan Jr. with Brett Miller. The 7 is Sandman's Impact, owned and trained by Ronald Gillerman of Sardinia, Ohio, with Jeff Ace Nicehonger. The 8 is Whiskey Blue, owned by John Fike of New Albany, Ohio, trained and driven by the K-Man, Kane Kaufman. From the outside of the 9 is Fox Valley Renee by Brian Tatum of Mount Sterling, Ohio, trained by Karen Seifert, Bob Harper. Scoring from off the second tier is number 10, Lake Hills Lisa, owned and trained by John Nelson, parent of Lebanon, Ohio, Dan Noble in her sulky. They're all fan pacing and firing away. Middle of the track, pushing the gate away. There goes Katie Can Scoot, who scoots out for the command. There goes Whiskey Blue. She's on the go there. From the inside of Mega Laugh comes away in third. Off the second tier in fourth, that is Lake Hills Lisa. Inside, dropping in 5, that is Family Classic. Sixth there along the inside is Madame Belicia. Inside racing in 7th, that is Heart of the Hero. 8th there is Rita's Velvet. And the 2 trailers here are Sandman's Impact and Fox Valley Renee. Can see them all. Moving by the opening quarter, a quick one, 27 3/5, and Whiskey Blue and the K-Man on top here, but now rushing over the outside. Here comes Mega Laugh and Kyle Later, and Kyle Later is looking for command with Mega Laugh as they step around the clubhouse turn and onto the front half, and on top, Whiskey Blue from the inside, and Mega Laugh. These two are duking it out of the front end. Along the inside, Katie Can Scoot goes along in third, second over the outside in fourth. That is Lake Hills Lisa as they reach the half. They're halfway home, 57 1/5, and Whiskey Blue has given Mega Laugh the cold shoulder off the turn and driving down the backside. Heads are pointed towards 3/4, and on top, Whiskey Blue leads it here by a widening length and 3/4, and now swung up 3 wide to the outside. Here comes Lake Hills Lisa along the inside, middle of the track there, Mega Laugh. Inside, Katie Can Scoot looking for racing room there. That is Family's Classic, who swung up 3 wide to the outside and buried at the rail. That's Sandman's Impact racing by 3/4 and 127 flat. Backside 29 and 4, pacing the final turn to head to the top of the stretch. Whiskey Blue has finally given way to the outside. Lake Hills Lisa with the lead to the outside here. Family Classic and swung up 3 wide to the outside as they turn to the top of the stretch. Is Madame Belicia, less than an eighth of a mile to go, and down the stretch they come. Madame Belicia blows right on by here to the outside. Heart of a Hero's charging hard, but at the wire it's Madame Belicia who got the jump on him. Finishing second is Heart of a Hero. Third is the 6 Family Classic. Down the mile, 156 3/5. Madame Belicia. 156 and 3, owned and trained by Bob Colley of Ashley, Ohio. Nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Jim Daly. That's back-to-back winning drives for driver Jim Daly, giving him a driving double. Two, 3, 6, 7 is official. 2, 3 exact is $76 even. 2, 3, 6 try. 418 even. 418. The 1 is Rock Patrol by Horner Racing Stables of Dayton, Ohio, trained by Tom Horner Jr. with Jeff Ace Nisunger. Number 2 is Express Trip, owned and trained by Michael Epler of Mount Vernon, Ohio, with Jeff Fount. The 3 is Slammy, owned by Donald Turner of New Haven, Indiana, trained by Robert Davis with Dave Setzer. The 4 is Hunter's Mac, owned by John Shattuck of Columbus, Ohio, trained by John Robinson, Tony Hall. The 5 is Gypsy Double Deal, owned, trained, and driven by Kane Kaufman of Arcanum, Ohio. The 6 is The Upsetter by June Stone of Lebanon, Ohio, trained by Eddie Pulling with Daniel Noble. The 7 is Tsunami by Matt Rowe of Urbana, Ohio, trained by Robert Stapleton with Dallas Miller. The 8 is Miami Jewel by Molina Fortright, Kentucky, and Morgan Avila Hills, Kentucky, trained by Mike Barrett with Brett Miller, my Budweiser best bet of the night. The 9 is Katie's Brett, owned by Eddie Blair of Paintsville, Kentucky, trained by Tommy Smith, Bob Harper, and from off the second tier, the 10, Winsome Winter by Ron Fairchild of Flat Gap, Kentucky, trained by Jeff Brewer, Jason Brewer, in the sulky
Finale. Field in motion. Being sent on their way. They're all fan pacing and firing away from the inside. Express Trip pushes the gate away. Middle of the track, there's the 5 Gypsy Double Deal, who's headed for command. From the outside, Miami Jewel is looking to drive on from 3rd. Off the rail in 2nd, coming away in 4th. That is Rock Patrol to the outside in 5. That is Katie's Brad. Along the inside in 6th, from off the second tier is a Winsome Winter. Along the inside, racing in 7th is Slammy. Along the inside, racing in 8th, there is Hunter's Back, and the 2 trailers are the Upsetter and Tsunami. Can see them all marching by the opening quarter in 28 seconds flat and onto the front end tier with the lead Miami Joe and Brett Miller. The Budweiser best bet of the night leads it here by length and 3/4. To the inside, Gypsy Double Deal is stalking in 2nd. Express Trip is racing in 3rd. 4th there along the inside of that is Rock Patrol. 5 is Katie's Brett. Along the inside in 6th is Winsome Winter. To the outside there in 7th is the Upsetter. And now up on the outside racing in 8th as they step towards the halfway mile mark of the race. That is Slammy. The 2 trailers here remain as they step by the halfway mile mark of the race. Hunter's Mac in 10th and trailing the field, but swung to the outside. Tsunami. They went the half in 58 and 2/5 off the turn and driving down the backside of it all, chasing the 4 to 5 Punter's Choice. Miami Jewel on top of the Hitman, leading it here by length and 1/4, ranging up on the outside. First over on the outside, racing in 2. That's the Upsetter, watching over the dueling leaders from 3rd. That is Gypsy Double Deal, penned in at the rail, racing in 4th. That is Express Trip outside in 5 Slammy. 3/4 in 1:28 and 2/5. They'll pace the final turn and head to the top of the stretch, spinning around to the top of the turn. Miami Jewel on top here to the outside. The Upsetter awaiting the passing lane is Gypsy Double Deal to the top of Power Alley. Less than an 1/8 of a mile to go. And down the stretch they come, and Miami Jewel is drawing clear here to the outside. Gypsy Double Deal is trying to come on along with Express Trip, but as they come to the wire, this is Miami Jewel in front. Finishing 2nd was the 2 Express Trip. It was mighty close forward of the show. Down to the mile 158 flat. Miami Jewel, the Budweiser best bet of the night, scores
Circle,
in the night
unofficial
winner of the 10th and final race. The 8 Miami Jewel, a 5-year-old big outing by Miami Mogo out of a sparkling jewel. She by Lon Todd Hanover, posting the first win in 2003, owned by Molina Fortright, Kentucky, and Morgan Avila Hills, Kentucky, trained by Mike Barrett. Nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Brett Miller. That's 3 wins on this evening's card for leading driver Brett Miller, giving him a driving triple. Miami Jewel, home a winner at 158 flat. (8-2-1-5) is now posted official. 8-2 Exacta returns 1840, 8-2-1 try, 4580, 8-2-1-5 Super, $483.20.